Peer-to-peer learning. Okay, so for now, the content of the peer-to-peer learning program is purely about mathematics. And the goal is to strengthen your maths knowledge so that you can help the children in your clubs improve their maths. So it's kind of a roll down effect. Your maths knowledge becomes better, then you can pass that on to the children that you work with. You will learn in the peer-to-peer learning program through social interaction. So with and from other people in your crew and the broader TIMCA team. We'll find out what a crew is a little bit later on. And because this is a mathematics focused program, we will be focusing on number work, fraction, patterns in algebra, measurement, space and shape, data literacy, and problem solving. The social learning that you do in the peer-to-peer program will help you to build a culture of knowledge sharing and continuous lifelong learning. So a place where you share knowledge. So rather than keeping it to yourself, you share it amongst your team and you make yourselves stronger by sharing it. And the idea that you continuously learn throughout your life. You don't just learn at school and finish learning when you leave school. Your learning continues. It will also help you to improve your social, communication, and teamwork skills. So those pillars that we were talking about earlier. And it will improve your self-confidence and hopefully build a sense of community and belonging within TIMCA, within your clubs, and into the broader community that you work in. So what does the first peer-to-peer learning course for mathematics look like? How will it work? So remember we looked at these 4 pillars of growth, and in the peer-to-peer learning program the primary focus, the main focus is on pillar 1, which is on developing your mathematical skills and knowledge. But the program is also structured so that it ensures that all the pillars are developed in various ways. And that is because it's based on this idea of social learning, that you're learning with and from other people. The course, you can look at your handouts. You should have a course 1 overview with lots of details. This is going to run from April to June, and it will be over 8 weeks. The aim of the course is very specific. It's the first course that you will be doing in the Academy and through peer-to-peer learning. So it is designed to help you settle into the routine and habit of learning through a peer-to-peer learning program. You will be introduced to problem-solving activities that focus on space, shape, and measurement. You may find some of these problems challenging, but the idea is to use the knowledge of your team members to work through the problems and learn together. So remember, it's not about you having the knowledge and feeling inadequate if you don't know how to solve the problem. The responsibility is with the team to learn as a group and to solve the problems as a group with everybody's contributions. So sometimes you might need to look beyond the team for information, and that is also something that you can do. So you can use resources that go beyond the people in your team. At the end of the course, there will be a team competition to apply the mathematical knowledge that you've learned. So you will be in teams, and this team competition will allow the teams to compete against each other to see what you've learned from a mathematical point of view during the course. So you will be part of a learning unit, which is made up of 4 or 5 people. This will be your crew, your team. So you've got you, and you'll have 3 other members or maybe 4 other members. This is your crew, your learning unit. And in this unit, you will work on your own as an individual. You might sometimes work in a pair with somebody else. You might sometimes work as a whole unit, as a group of 4 or 5 people. And sometimes there will be different configurations. Sometimes your learning unit will work with another learning unit. And sometimes you will work as a full team of coaches with another 4 or 5 learning units. Each week, your assignment guide for your learning program will tell you how the learning units are organized. So it will tell you if you're going to be working in pairs. It will tell you if you're going to be working as an individual, or if you're going to be teaming up with another learning unit to do something. So the peer-to-peer learning program works across a weekly cycle of 7 days. And to begin with, we will repeat the same cycle, but it'll do every 2 weeks, go through every 2 weeks. So this is how the weekly cycle will work. On Friday afternoon, you will get a new learning assignment via your WhatsApp group. So when you get that assignment, read through it so that you understand what it is that you are being asked to do, and then allocate some time in your diary over the next few days so that you can work on the assignment on your own. So the first thing is to read it and put some time in your diary. That will be your Friday afternoon task. Then from Saturday to Tuesday, you've got some individual thinking time and preparation. So in that time from Saturday to Tuesday, you need to do your best to work on the assignment on your own. You don't have to solve the problem if you're not able to. That is what you will do when you get together with your learning crew. But for now, you want to make sure that you are prepared for discussion and also to be able to contribute ideas and questions when you get together with your learning crew. So, for example, you might want to make notes of your learning zone when you started the assignment. That will come up in a moment. You might want to make notes of the strategies and the ideas that helped you work on the problem. You might want to make notes of the questions that you have for your crew. You might want to make notes of anything that you struggled with. And the zone is, which zone were you in when you started work on this problem? So when you first read it, were you in the comfort zone? Like, oh, yeah, okay, I think I know how I can solve this. I know how to do this type of problem. Was it perhaps somewhere that you were in productive struggle where you knew a little bit, but you weren't quite sure? There was bits that you didn't know? Or did it put you directly into panic zone? Like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to do this at all. Okay. So the reason I'm asking you to make note of your learning zone is, how did you feel when you started working on this problem? This links back to the work that we did in the productive struggle sessions a few months ago. Then Wednesday comes around and you will have a learning lab seminar, and then you will have a chance to get together with your crew to work on your current assignment. So it's important to arrive on time, to arrive prepared. We've just looked at the previous examples of how you can be prepared. Notes, questions, things you struggled with, how you did stuff. You also need to be ready to share and participate. This is not about you as an individual. Remember, it's about learning as a group. So you need to be sharing, you need to be participating. So after the Zoom call for the Learning Lab, you get together with your crew. You will allocate specific roles to people for the assignment. You'll see what those are on the sheet. And you work through the assignment together, using the sheet as a guide. And you solve the problem together. Or you work as far as you can to solving the problem. Then on Thursday and Friday, after you've got together with your crew, this is an opportunity for you to work a little bit more on the problem if you need to. So you've got Thursday and Friday to do this. There's two things you could do here. You could take some time on your own to make sense of what you learned when you were together with your crew, and maybe go through the problem again on your own to make sense of it. Or you might get together with your crew because you didn't really make as much progress as you hoped when you were together on the Wednesday, and so you want to do some further work on the problem. So you can organize this yourselves. The Thursday and Friday is about consolidating or continuing your peer-to-peer learning, depending on how you need to move forward. So let's look in a bit more detail as to how you will be guided through the assignment every week. So it'll start, as I said, on Friday afternoon when you get your assignment guide on WhatsApp. The assignment guide will often just be one page. Sometimes it might be 2 pages. Let's look at what those pages will look like. So here on the right hand side is an example of an assignment guide for your peer-to-peer learning. You can see that there's different color sections. There's red, there's yellow, there's green, there's blue. Let's unpack each section and see what it tells us. So the red section at the top will tell you 3 things. First of all, it tells you your assignment number. So in this case, example 1, that's the course 1, assignment number 2. It will give you a duration. So in other words, how long do you think you need to work on this with your team? So some problems will be harder than others, or some problems will require more work than others, and so the time will change here. So if it's 20 to 30 minutes, that's about half an hour where you need to work with your team to try and solve it. Do not be concerned if it takes you longer. Okay, this is just a guide. The third thing here is the dates. So what is the cycle for this particular assignment? It starts on, for example, the 3rd of May, and it'll finish on the 9th of May. Okay, the next section is a yellow one, and this is all about positioning it in your mathematics, in the mathematics space. So the course topic, which is for the whole of course 1, which is about open-ended problems related to space and shape or geometry. Specifically, we are looking at a focus area to do with geometry and problem solving within geometry. So that's the mathematical space that we're working in for this whole course. This section then says, right, when you're working together with your team, what types of roles, what types of things do you need some people to do in the team? So you need someone to be the timekeeper, keeps an eye on the time, especially if you've got other things that you need to get on with, but also to make sure that you're doing at least the minimum suggested time on working on the problem. You might need someone to take notes for you, and there will be other roles here that differ depending on the problem that you're doing and how it would be good to work. There will also be places here which will tell you if necessary, how you need to work with others. So if you need to work on your own, or if you need to work in a pair, or if your team needs to join up with another group. Then there will be some things here about, evidence that you've participated in this learning. You might need to sign the register, and there will be other requirements, but they will be shown here so that you know what you have to produce to show that you've participated in the learning. The green section is what you must do. Okay, so this is the problem that your team must solve. So the first bit will be the instructions. What do you need to do? What is the problem that you have to solve? The second bit, there may be a diagram or an image that's related to the problem that you can look at, and that will relate to the instructions. Those two things work together. This other section here, extending the problem, will be hints, tips, and extension. So making the problem a little bit harder, or taking the problem a bit further, okay? Or some hints and tips if they are needed. Okay, so the green section is the section of what is it that you must do together as a team. So this is your mathematical problem. If there are 2 pages, there will be a box that says what do we do next, and it will tell you look at page 2 to find out what to do next, and there'll be an arrow. So there'll be another page of instructions or examples or things that you have to work through that you need to look at. The top of that page will again tell you what your assignment is. So 1-2, course 1, assignment 2, and this is page 2 of it. And it'll give you the duration and the dates. At the bottom of your assignment guide is the blue section, and here there are some question sets that will help you keep on track. So there's question set 1, question set 2, question set 3. Let's look at each of those so we can see how they will help you or support you in your learning process with your team. So question set 1, what we need to solve. So you're going to ask this set of questions at the beginning of your time together as a group. So as soon as you've got together in your group, settle down, someone's going to ask these questions so that you are very, very clear about what it is that you are trying to do mathematically. So the questions are, let's think about the questions. You're going to look at the green section. What are we being asked to do? What kind of question is it? What are we trying to find out? Where do we start? Who's got some ideas? Now this is where it's important that you've done your preparation in the time before you're getting together with your group, because we need to have ideas about where to start. You don't want to be sitting in the group and thinking, oh, we don't, we've got to start from scratch. If you come prepared, then you have ideas to contribute, then those ideas can be followed through. So this set of questions are the ones that you ask at the beginning of your group session, and they just set so that you know what your framework is for this learning. Question set number 2. If you get stuck, you can ask this set of questions. Now, sometimes, like I said, the mathematical problems may be a little bit challenging, and you may get stuck halfway through or at the beginning. So here's some questions that you can ask that will maybe help you think about things a little bit differently. Can we look at this problem a different way? Because maybe we've been trying and we've been doing it this way. Let's step back a bit. Can we look at it in a different way? What do we already know? So we know this, we know this. How does that help us trying to solve this problem? Can we use other resources to help us? Can we use the hints and tips that have been given? Is there someone in the group who knows about this thing and who could explain it to us? Maybe there's someone else that we know who knows this, that we could turn to. Is there a textbook that we could use? And if the problem seems a bit large, a bit overwhelming, can we break it into smaller parts and do a little part first and take one step, and then come back and say, right, now we know this, we've solved this bit, can we do the next step? So question set 2 is about helping you get unstuck if you need it. Question set 3 is to ask at the end of your time together with your group if you've solved your problem or if you've made some progress towards solving the problem. Let's look at the questions. How did we get our answer? What did we go through? What was the process that we went through to get our answer? Does the way that we did it make sense? Or was it completely confused and we sort of arrived at an answer but we weren't quite sure how we did it? It's just like some magic. This is a very important one. Can we explain what we did to others? So if someone said, great, okay, you've solved that problem, can you tell me how you did that? Can you do that? Can you explain it to others? And this is where your note taker in the session is very important, because they will be able to make a note of these things as you're going through so that you can explain it to somebody else. What mistakes did we make? We know from a growth mindset point of view that making mistakes is about learning. So if we make mistakes, that's fine. What mistakes did we make? How did we correct them? How did we put ourselves back on track? What did we do to correct the mistake? Okay, so question set 3 is your process. Ask them at the end of the session, and these are the key things that your note taker will be involved with, is keeping a note of how you did things so that you can explain it to other people. So that's the blue section at the bottom of your assignment guide.